Okay. So after Morristown, where did the course of your life take you?
I was in Morristown 2.5 years,
Oh, it's a long time.
and I was going to leave, but the last year and a half, the Rosh Yeshiva Rabbi Friedman said, "Stay another year, and I'll study with you personally, one-on-one, chulin, for smicha and something like that." He liked me. He had no children. I was alone, basically no family. He kind of adopted me. He had a lot of rough edges, but he did adopt me, and we studied together, and it was very nice. And that's was a good education for me. So I did 2.5 years in Marston. Then I went to Israel for 2 years.
Oh, single.
Yeah, Kfar Chabad, Yeshiva boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I got in the. I went 66 and 67.
So you guys had
67,
the
I
war.
caught the war.
Wow.
Yeah, that was something special.
Can you share that story that you were at the war and you were literally hiding in the middle of the war and there was bullets going over you?
We 2 weeks before the 6 Day War was called Shat Cherum in Israel. It means time of crisis. So we knew there was going to be a war. War was imminent. First, we got one notice and a second notice in the American embassy. Everybody who was registered as having an American passport, a citizen of America, got a notice. We got the second and final notice. It said final notice. Then I started to get nervous. Final notice, war is imminent, no transportation will be provided in case of emergency, leave the country now, basically. Not only that, it was against the law, the American law at that time, to bear arms in a war in a foreign country, even if it was for an ally of America. If you did, you lost your American citizenship. It means you were stateless. You couldn't get back into the country, into America. That was kind of crazy. But that was the law. Now it's not like that. So they taught us how to shoot, but if you shot, or you walked around with a gun during the war, you're going to lose your American citizenship, even though I'm born in this country. So that was kind of crazy. We also went to Hebrew University to learn first aid and how to put people into body bags. I mean, it was a very bad time. They're expecting a really bad bloodbath. There's 200 Arabs against 4 million Jews, I mean, like the Hanukkah story. So, so then Monday morning the war broke out. 2 weeks before the war, we went out every morning and put tefillin on the soldiers. It was and we had a huge backyard. And in the backyard, they dug 3 foxholes, the soldiers, and they put mortar guns. It's a small gun, the shells are this big, and they can take you out, but there were 3 of them. And let's
This
say,
is in Kfar Chabad,
no, this was in Jerusalem.
in Jerusalem.
And Jerusalem was 3 blocks from the border. Jerusalem was surrounded on 3 sides by Jordan, by the enemy. So it was very bad. I mean, it didn't look good. Everybody was going to Tel Aviv or somewhere else. My father called me and said, "Why don't you go to Tel Aviv?" Well, I was a shliach at that time. So the Rebbe said, "Send 10 Bachrim from Kfar Chabad to Jerusalem." I was one of the 10. So then it was, we put tefillin on every morning on the soldiers. We got to know them a little bit. We had 2 Shabbases with them. We sang, that sort of thing. You know, that was nice. I gave them food. They appreciate it. There was no religious people there. And Monday morning the war started. What does it mean? It was small arms fire, machine gun, not mortar. And that was 8 o'clock in the morning. We called back into the yeshiva. 10 o'clock, 2 hours later, they started with the mortar bombardment. That was really bad. because the explosion is terrifying. The sound of the noise of the explosion, you can see yourself over a wide area, many body parts. It's like, that was like for hours, people went insane. I mean, you can start to hold up psychologically. Every 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, there's another explosion, and it could be your name on it. I thought to myself, somebody's going to ring the doorbell in Atlantic City and say to my mother, Mr. Schwartz, we regret to inform you. I said, I'm an only son. My father wouldn't handle it. My mother for sure wouldn't handle it. And that's going to be very bad. So, but it was pretty bad, the bombardment too. Maybe lasted 4 or 5 hours without stop. Every 4 or 5 minutes was another explosion. One hit the car in front of the yeshiva. The explosion was tremendous. One hit the roof. You could see the stars. Made a hole in the roof. I mean, the walls were this thick of stone, but a little mortar shell can do damage. So that was for a long time. That was Monday day. About 5 o'clock in the morning, we hear a noise, a rumble. We realize it's a tank, but we don't know whose it is. Is it the Israeli tank or the Arab tank? So we look through the sandbags of the window. We see it has a Jewish star. So it's an Israeli tank. So in other words, we're getting the upper hand. Because listening to the radio is talking about Tel Aviv and Eilat in the north, not talking about Jerusalem. Not a good sign. We had a telegram of the Rebbe. We were 4 outside of Israel citizens, 2 Americans, 1 Canadian, and 1 English. We wrote a telegram to the Rebbe, what should we do? You say. We're ready to do whatever you say. Should we stay in Israel? We're not allowed to fight even. We want to be under the bed. There was 40 people in my room. I had a big room, a lot of people in the dormitory room. And the war started, everybody kind of rented off the street into my room. It was a really big room. I was under the bed with the one guy had a pistol. 40 people, 1 pistol. This is a joke. And the pistol is a pea shooter. A pistol doesn't do anything against a mortar shell. It was really bad. I never thought I'd see a war, really. I'm a 4D. It means I'm a rabbinical student. I'm in seminary. And so that was that. And the first thing they tell you in Hebrew University when you're studying, how do you call that, first aid, was never volunteer. As the first lesson they teach you. You're not a soldier. You didn't get basic training. You don't know anything. Never volunteer. So the war started Monday morning. And basically for us it was over Wednesday. Because Wednesday it got quiet where we were in Jerusalem. I didn't tell you, but anyway, the Rebbe's telegram came back, was printed on the front page of the most important newspaper, secular newspaper in Israel called Ma'ariv newspaper. The Rebbe's telegram read back to us and the 4 names. There's a video called Peace on the Land. Within the first 60 seconds, my name appears with the other 3. Rodel, Langsam, Ives, and Schwartz. So there it said, Yasmin, you should continue studying diligently in Israel, don't leave, and we'll hear good news. So I thought, a stupid American, I thought that means no war. And all the Israelis laughed at me. That's not what it means. There is going to be war. But you're going to make it. You'll hear good news doesn't mean you're going to die. Okay, I'm 21. That's a good thing for me to hear. And that's what happened. So when the bombs were falling, it was very tight, maybe for about 3 hours. Very bad. and it was, the noise was interesting the way it was. It was, first you heard a small low noise like tss, and then it was quiet for 2 seconds. But that's the most terrifying, because after that silent 2-3 seconds, there's going to be an explosion. It could be in the distance, it could be in your nose. So we didn't know really what's going to be. But it was, but then it was a whistle. And you really couldn't tell from the whistle how close it's going to be. And then there's the explosion. Then there's 2-second silence. Then there's the explosion. And if it's far away, there's no reason to be happy, because they sent like 3 at a time. So the next one could be closer, or if it's further, the second one is further, then you got lucky. If the second one is closer, the third one could be on top of your head. So that was really bad. I mean, it was hour after hour. Mentally, it's very difficult to stand up against that, just psychologically, because you don't know when the next one or where it's going to land. That's when you have to make peace with being alive or not. Yeah. So that's how we survived that 6-day war.
Did you go home shortly after that?
So what happened was, I went home after that, and there was a shambles, the whole situation. But I was coming back for another year. When I went home, I took a wrong turn, whatever it was, and I got engaged. I went for Tishri to New York to be by the Rebbe, and so I thought, okay, I got engaged. So why do I have to go back for another year to Israel? I'm going to get married soon. That's the way the way it was. I'm marrying a Deutsch. They knew who I was. I knew Zalman. Zalman knew me. They knew my family situation. They let me go out, but okay. They pushed me, really. I wasn't really thinking of getting married. I came for a Tishri and I was going to go back for another year to yeshiva. But in the middle I became a chassan. So then became a whole situation. That so I said, I wrote a little letter, a little note to the Rebbe that, okay, I'm engaged, I'm probably getting married soon, so I'm not going to go back to Israel. But if you have a better idea, you have another idea, I'm ready to do whatever you want. Any mucher muzum lekavol vichas kavod kedush avatzas kavod kedush al mishklita b'simcha v'tuv levav. I'll do whatever you want. He didn't answer me, because I listed like 7 reasons I should stay in America, but he didn't answer me. So I went to Benny Klein and I said, listen to me, I'm going to lose the ticket, which that time was $300. It cost a fortune, about $300 that time, 1967. It was like $1,000, like a lot of money. So I said, I need an answer quickly. Because to save the ticket, if I have to go back, if that's what he's thinking, if I don't know why, but if that's what he wants, I'll go back. But I want to save the ticket, because I have a return trip ticket. Because when I first bought the ticket, I was thinking I'm coming back for a year. So he says, okay. He wrote urgent, put it on top of the pile. In a few hours, I got the famous Pashut Lachzor. It's simple that you should go back, underlined Lachzor. Ulepela HaSafik. And it's a wonder you have any doubts. That was around the world in 20 minutes. Okay, I come the next day to 770. As I usually come to 770 and make a right. I go into the America's offices, so to Benny, to Label, to Yudel, to, that's basically, those are the 3 secretaries. I always say good morning, good afternoon, hello, what's the news, anything going on. That was always my first stop. And they said, Rabbi Chadiko is looking for you. I never spoke a 1 word to this man. He's the Rebbe's top secretary. What do you want with me? Rabbi Chadiko It's, I said, what's going on? They said, go into his office. He's looking for you. Okay. I go into his office, enter the hall, small office, rotary phone. He's just, I mean, he has a wall up. He was a very difficult person. So he says, what are you doing? What are you doing here? I said, I'm getting engaged soon, like next week. Next week? You are in a country without a visa. You're in this country without a visa. You don't have a visa. He meant, obviously, the answer from yesterday. Because he goes in at the end of every day, and they talk. 10 minutes, 45 minutes. It says every day, the last person that ever sees is Hanukkah, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, discuss the day, and then the Rebbe goes home. That was always 5 days a week. Okay? Obviously, this comes from the Rebbe. He's not going to say that. So, I got to leave.
And return to Israel.
I got to leave the next. I'm done. I'm out. I go to 669 Crown Street. I tell my future shver the situation. He was really upset. So was my Kala, very upset. You're going to Israel?
We just met.
What do you mean you're going to Israel? What's Israel about? It's not. So that was his situation. Finally, the shver Shalom Deitch, the original, said, "That's what Chalikov said. Or that's what the Rebbe said." That's the key question. That was Chalikov's power. You never knew if he's saying it or this front office is saying, the Rebbe's office, the Rebbe's saying it. So that's problematic. So he says, okay, let's go to 770. Put on his jacket. We're walking to 770. We go to 770. Chalikov was in the Merkaz office, not in his own office. So Shalom Deitch walks into the Merkaz office to the right, opens the gate, and walks in behind the gate, and I stay outside. I don't want to hear this, really. I don't want to be involved. Start talking Yiddish, and I see he raises his voice. Shalom Deitch. And he finally, the punchline was very loud. Das sagt dir zu das sagt dem Rebbe. Are you saying that, or is the Rebbe saying that? That you have to leave now. So Chalikov said, it says in the Gemara Kiddush in the 2nd chapter, you can send a shliach to your wedding. Certainly you can send a shliach to your engagement.
Wow.
Well, I didn't know what the shver is going to do with that. I certainly am not involved in that. I will not get involved. So once he was confronted, though, he backed off. He said, that's what I understand from an answer like that. Poshut lachzor lepela hasofik. Means he's here without a visa. So he said, okay, I hear what you're saying. We're going to have it on Wednesday. We'll do it on Tuesday. And he'll leave Wednesday. And that's how it happened. That's exactly what happened.
Did you correspond with your fiance the year that you were in
Yes,
Israel?
I did. I really hated that, but because she wrote almost every day, every other day. She's writing long letters. Ay vey. And I am not a big, at that time, wasn't a letter writer altogether. And, and on her birthday, that time people didn't call. But on her birthday, her girlfriends made a surprise thing. And then all of a sudden, they said, your chassan is on the phone.
Aww.
She flipped out, and I cried, nah, there's no video at that time.
That's really sweet.
But that was the prize.
That's really nice.
Is that enough for a first section?